I'd like to welcome everyone to the Emmaus Borough Council meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Personal Appeals Part 1.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ann Zayatz, and I'm here representing East Penn Neighbors Helping Neighbors. And I'm here mostly to thank you. We could not do what we do without the support of Borough Council. East Penn Neighbors Helping Neighbors is a 501c3 that has 3 partners. You are one of them, and actually I'd love to think about it as a triangle because of the triangle downtown. You are one of them, the school district is the other, and basically the community, and the faith community in particular, is the third point of that triangle. We support families in East Penn School District who have children and who are home insecure. Hearing a lot about that today in the news in light of Martin Luther King Day of Service. And I just really am here on behalf of the board to thank you for your support in allowing us to rent the property from you and for your ongoing support of our program. I do want to invite you to our second spaghetti dinner, May 2nd. So if you are free, we will make sure that you have tickets and you may come to that. Other than that, unless anyone has any questions, that's really all I wanted to say.
Just thank you for what you do because it doesn't happen without your board, so thank you.
Well, thanks to all of you, really. Okay, thanks.
Hi, Lynn Donchis at 559 Minor Street. I may be missing it, but I know that we requested the agendas be more visible on the web page. Tonight when I went to look at it, I still had to go through the search and peck and where is it method. So if that could possibly be linked as we were told it would be for quick access, I would really appreciate that. I also want to recommend the use, and maybe you'd like to investigate, a program called Board Docs. It's used at the school district now. It's used at the county. It's very economical. It's easy to use. And we could not only have the agenda there and all the parts of it, but we could also have the committee reports that are accessible to all of you that are not accessible to us, the public, with just one link. It can all be posted. It's only a few or several $1,000s. It's not much, and I know the other system that we have is inferior. So that's what I'd like to recommend, and I look forward to finding easy access to the agendas.
We are too. We're working on it.
All right. I can't recommend Board Docs enough. I pushed for it at the school. They got it finally. The researcher that looked into the county system, she researched so much, and they looked at a lot of systems, and that's the one that came out on top. And it's very economical.
Thank you. Any other appeals? Community Minute. Does anyone have anything to bring forward? I just want to wish everyone a happy Martin Luther King Day. His birthday was last Wednesday, but we celebrated on Monday, so it's nice for a 3-day weekend.
Just, is our junior councilman here going to be here tonight?
I haven't heard anything.
Okay, I was just asking.
He-
Just noticed.
They had off school today. He may not have realized that we had a meeting.
Gotcha.
I guess for the record, junior councilman is absent tonight, since I didn't mention that. Thank you for pointing that out.
I just looked over, I'm like, wait, where's Jonas?
We have no special presentations, the reading of the minutes. We have council meeting minutes from January 6th. Does anybody have a motion to approve the meeting minutes? Councilman Balliet, second by Councilman Dufresne. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. We have no bids. Communications we received.
Letter from Richard Kraus from the Emmaus Veterans Committee requesting to hold Memorial Day Parade on May 25th. And then the rest of that will go to staff, as we have that for many years now. Jesse O'Donnell requested reappointment to the Joint Environmental Advisory Council. And what committee does that go to? GA?
Health, sanitation, and codes, maybe? But, I mean, it's a reappointment.
It is a reappointment.
It's up to you guys.
What to do it now?
Yeah, you can.
Would somebody like to make a motion to reappoint Jesse O'Donnell from 1312 Pennsylvania Avenue with a term expiring March 7th? Her term expires March 7th, 2020. Do we know how long the term is? I would guess it's a 3-year term, maybe 4.
Years, so it would be
2023.
23. Yep.
I'll make that.
Motion by Councilman Anders, second by Councilwoman Baumgartner. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Oh, you have a
I was just going to say, she served, I know, several years on this,
Okay.
and done a wonderful job, especially helping with our.
So this would be our second term then?
It may even be her third.
Okay.
I know she's been here
Yeah,
for
she's
quite
been with us a long time. She's a key member of the Earth Day event. She's also the
Yes.
chairperson of the board now.
Yes, so that's why
And she's a
Okay.
good liaison between the two municipalities.
she is.
Thank you for pointing it out. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. There's no borough engineers report. Solicitors report.
I have no report tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you. All right, unfinished business part 1, new business, unfinished business part 2. There is nothing on the agenda. Does anybody have anything to bring forward under items not on the agenda? Hearing none, mayor's report.
Thank you. I just have one item this evening. Actually, it's addressed to Chief Palmer, and it's a letter, and I'll read it. On behalf of the Allentown Police Department, I would like to thank you and your staff for participating in the event Lights On for Officer Anthony Skoka on December 23, 2019. Words cannot express our heartfelt appreciation for the support that was provided by the Emmaus Police Department and numerous other agencies throughout Lehigh County that was needed to make this event happen. An event such as this is one truly confirms how much we appreciate Officer Skoka as an individual, his service to the residents of our great city, and the many agencies throughout Lehigh County who assisted in this endeavor. This extraordinary event could not have been made possible without the numerous and extensive resources and desire to remind Officer Skoka that he is missed and cared about by first responders throughout Lehigh County. The presence of your agency's personnel was crucial to show Officer Skoka. It was amazing and moving to see how Officer Skoka was able to experience firsthand the outpouring of support from all agencies involved. This moment will be forever remembered by him, his family, and many first responders that were able to see this extraordinary act of kindness. Thanks again for your support to Officer Skoka and the Allentown Police Department and the community he serves. Sincerely, Glenn Granitz, Chief of Police, Allentown Police Department. If anybody wants to see pictures of what that actually was, I have it on Facebook. I can show it to you after the meeting if you're interested. Other than that, progress.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Committee reports, Public Works Committee, Chairman Anders.
Yes, I have nothing for official action. We met on January 8th. We did set our 2020 goals, working with Mr. Daishala and the committee. I also wanted to note that we are possibly looking at streetlight conversions to LED lights. We will be discussing it further as we get some more information to what that would mean for the borough. And the rest of our 2020 goals are listed, if you would like to read through those, and I'll report progress.
Thank you. Health, Sanitation, and Codes Committee, Chairman Balliet.
Tonight, we don't have anything for official action. Our next committee meeting is still going to be January 29th at 4:30. We're going to go over our 2020 goals, and I'd like to report progress also.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation Committee, Chairwoman Baumgartner.
We have nothing for official action. In our committee notes, you'll see updates on the pool study and the Parks and Trails study and where those are. And our next meeting is February 4th at 4:45.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Chairman Hart.
Thank you, Mr. President. Like some of my other colleagues, we are new at chairing a particular committee, and this is a new chair for me. We are developing goals for the upcoming year, and it was a robust meeting, actually. I do have 2 action items for your consideration. The first is a contract with Sanctuary at Halfville. It's for our 2020 contract. This is the entity that provides handling of stray cats and dogs within the borough. Chief Palmer and our animal control officer reviewed the contract and feel everything is in order. We've been dealing with them previously, and therefore I'm recommending it to council for approval.
There's a motion by Councilman Hart. Is there a second? Councilman Dufresne. Discussion? I just want to point out in paragraph, the second full paragraph, it refers to us as a township. If we could just correct it to borough.
We'll have.
And that's the only thing that's in it. It says borough everywhere else, but there it says township. So, any other,
I think there was a couple of other things that didn't really apply to us that applied to some of the others.
Yeah, and I think the chief pointed that out on
Yeah.
the committee, right?
He did, yes,
Yeah.
yes. But we will take care of that. Thank you.
all right, any other suggestions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
The next item elicited a great deal of discussion around the larger principle or idea of donations to the borough. And it has to do with, whether the borough could accept designated donations. In other words, the donor is deciding what the monies can be utilized for. In this case, it is us. We are the Halloween parade, if you will. Wes Barrett, one of the organizers of the Halloween parade and the Halloween race, recommended that the monies from the Halloween parade this year be utilized for electronic speed signs for the borough and some of our, problem areas. We debated whether we should deal with it, and it was agreed that we should because it's a public safety issue, and that we recommend purchase of it to council with the funds that were generated.
There's a motion by Councilman Hart. Is there a second? Councilman Dufresne, discussion? So, in years past, he divided the donations up between committees and commissions and whatnot. There's usually 3 or 4 different, he divided up. Is it strictly going to the signs this year, or is that just one of the donations?
It's just one of them.
Okay.
We
I just want, because it didn't
Yeah.
specifically state that, and I
No,
just wanted to
it-
know if he cut
Public-
back
public
on the other
safety-
ones.
So what public safety decided the other day was we're going to deal at the committee with that piece of it. But CRD is going to, and then we kind of at public safety referred the rest of it to CRD.
Okay.
To deal with a little bit of a larger scale conversation with the entire way that donations are being handled.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Our committee notes are included in the packet. Our next meeting is February 10th at 9:15 a.m. Our report progress.
Councilman
I just
Anderson.
wanted to thank the committee. I see that you addressed the bridge at 2nd Street with them. Thank you, Shane, for following up on that. I see that they do say it is structurally sound, even though it is quite ugly, so thank you for doing that.
I'll tell you how we dealt with it later.
And I will also like to say thank you. I see that you're working on the trucks on South 2nd Street, which can be a problem with 78 being shut down, and then it becomes a throughfare for everybody trying to get through and around 78. So thank you both for the committee for working on that and looking into the matters.
To be clear, I won't take any credit at all. Mr. Dufresne, the previous chair, was diligent in handing me the things that were still pending, and we began discussing them.
Well, thank you.
I think that's definitely doable.
And Shane did the legwork, by the way.
Well, I think it's definitely doable. But passing the ordinances are one thing.
Right.
Getting GPS.gov to get that stuff off of Google Maps and things like that, so that's a whole whole nother fight. But
Understood.
there will be a series of ordinances between us and one or two other municipalities that would need to be adopted. So we're working on it at their direction. It'll take a couple months, but I think we'll get there with it.
Very good, thank you. And I'll pass it along to my neighbors as well, since they had inquired.
Anything else? All right, thank you. General Administration Committee, that's myself. We have Resolution 2020-3, volunteer appointments. Please tell me I don't have to read 3 pages worth of names.
You don't.
No, what this is if you remember a couple years ago, we decided that we just needed to reaffirm volunteers after elections.
So I'll read the resolution at least. A resolution of the Council of the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, reaffirming all volunteers previously appointed for the year 2020. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Councilman Hart, seconded by
I'll second.
Councilwoman Baumgartner. Any discussion on the volunteer list?
Yeah, Brian, I do just have one question. Since we already did Jesse, and it has terms in here, that doesn't matter, right?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Just wanted
It's a good point. You probably should have voted on that and then
to-
Jesse.
Right, that's what I was just thinking,
Oh,
but
you're
okay.
right.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. All right, as you remember, we have one of our officers that, maybe we have a couple new council members, so maybe not. We had an officer that was very ill and was going to be out of work for quite a while with the hope of recuperating. So this person only had X amount of sick time, so all his coworkers from the police force donated time, their sick time. Council agreed to do that, and then with God's help, he got healthy again. He's back on the police force, and he's full 100%. Which,
Yeah, we went from a gentleman who was on the list of heart donors to he's good.
so, with that being said, there's time left that was donated, and it was decided and discussed by the committee and other people too, that divided up by percentages that they donated. So essentially that's it, and you have the memorandum. So would somebody like to make a motion to approve the police sick pool agreement? Councilwoman McManaman, seconded by Councilman Anders. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. And personally, I'm proud of our police department willing to step up for one of their coworkers. I mean, that just tells you their family. So,
And they, in their letter even states, they truly appreciate, what Borough Council did for them and for the individual. Obviously, it was a major scare and it was a long road to recovery. Most cases like this, you wouldn't see the individual again. And there was a point where we were just praying that he was going to live. So, we're very happy with his road to recovery. We're very excited for him. And it's great that he's back on the force. It truly is, with a full bill of health.
all right, next is the Turnpike Agreement, which allows us to respond to accidents or whatever emergency that we're required to respond to. And it protects our crews from lawsuits. And also this agreement, which we didn't get in the past, I believe, we actually get a fee from is it from the Turnpike itself or the state?
It would be from the Turnpike Commission.
Turnpike
We
Commission,
signed the agreement.
which we never had before. So we'll generate a little revenue. Hopefully, we don't have a lot of responses there, but a handful at the most. But it's been reviewed several times by a solicitor. I hope everyone got a chance to read it. We discussed it in committee, and it's recommended that we approve the Turnpike Agreement. So with somebody,
We would
oh,
simply just ask that any motion that you make is contingent upon one final legal review.
so would somebody, with that being said, like to make the motion? Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilwoman McManaman. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. You have our committee meeting notes. If you have any questions, I'll take questions. If not, our next meeting's January 30th which is a Thursday here in council chambers at 9 a.m. Progress. Budget and Finance Committee, Chairman Dufresne.
Thank you. So first we have on our list here, we have Resolution 2020-4, which is the bill list for January 20th, 2020. The total bill list is $337,339.24. Place that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilman Hart. Discussion on the bill list? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Okay, you can see the significant revenue and expense items in there. Next, we have a resolution 2020-5 for the sale of the building. So we did do a resolution in December, I believe it was. This resolution just changes the date of the opening of the bids and the amount of the down payment. So make a motion for resolution 2020-5, a resolution of the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, authorizing the sale of 33 East Minor Street and 10 East Minor Streets in the Borough of Emmaus.
So motion by Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilman Hart. Any questions or discussion on the sale of the building?
Mr. President, if I could comment on it for you?
Sure.
I wrote the resolution, just so you're aware of it. We're going to, I've already drafted an advertisement to put in. There's some further changes that I would like to add, but they'll be minor. And then we have to do an agreement. And as you know, from the 12th until your next meet, they have 10 days to come up with the $75,000. So what happens during that time is unknown because we won't lock them in till they sign the agreement. I just want that clear to everyone. But it appears that there are interested people and there should be no problem, and I have no problem. It's certainly legal what we're doing. It's just a matter of the way it's being done. So you are aware that somebody could back out theoretically, and our recourse would probably not be there because they haven't signed the agreement and given us our down money at that point.
Okay.
Because we could have them submit it at the time, but it creates other difficulties for some of the bidders. And you may get more bidders at a higher amount the way you're doing it.
Okay. Did we vote yet?
No.
No. Any other comments?
Yeah, I just have one. Just, you said there'd be some other changes, minor, like.
Not in the resolution.
Okay, that's what I
in the
wanted to make sure.
advertisement.
In the advertisement, all right, I misunderstood.
I'm going to add that they have a chance to inspect the building and they can look at the leases that we have and the easements and things like that.
Okay.
Anyone else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Brent, that doesn't have to be a roll call vote, I don't. Okay.
No, only ordinances.
All right, next we have architect RFP. So obviously to go along with the sale of that building, potential sale of that building, we need to do something with our current buildings. So we need to make a motion for Shane to write an RFP to hire an architect to help design the remodel or redesign of the current buildings that we have. So I place that in the form of a motion.
So motion by Councilman Dufresne for a request for a proposal for an architect. Is there a second? Councilman Hart, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Okay, the last piece for official action is we have a quote today for the street sweeper that is in our budget. It's coming from Liquid Fuels, and we agreed in our budget to finance this through Liquid Fuels. The quote is for $258,870, along with $1,000 for a bumper-mounted magnet. So the total would be $259,870. Our budgeted amount, I believe, Shane, is $265,000. So it's under our budgeted amount, and again, it would be financed, and it would be from Liquid Fuels. So I place that in the form of a motion that our Public Works Director can go ahead and place the order.
There's a motion by Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilman Balliet. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
You can see our committee notes in there along with our goals for 2020. And then our next meeting is January 30th in council chambers at 11 a.m. Progress.
Thank you. Community Relations Planning and Development Committee, Chairwoman McMenamin.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have one item for official action tonight. In your packet, we have received a request by the parent-teacher community at Jefferson Elementary. They are in their 18th year for this fundraising event, and unfortunately, with the turf project at the high school, they're not able to do it there. So they are requesting holding the race around the school and to take place from Elm to 6th Street to North to 5th to back to Elm, which would be a repetitive loop depending on how the kids do. The event would take place on May 15th with a rain date for the following Friday. Hours would be from 10 a.m. to 2. They have asked for no parking on those blocks during that time. They'll also ask for barricades as well because of concerns with the emergency route with the proximity to the fire station. So we would also ask that they can, that they look more into that through the fire chief or we look more into that with the fire chief and police chief. So I'd like to put that in the form of a motion to approve the request contingent on discussions with the police chiefs.
So there's a motion by Councilwoman McMenamin. Is there a second? Councilman Anders, discussion?
Just a question. Shane, is the gas company going to be finished by then?
I hope.
Because I think they're working in that area now. Are they on? They're on
We're
Ridge
talking
at
about
this
we're
point?
talking about in May.
I know, but are they going to be finished?
The only answer I can give you is I hope.
Okay, just keep that in mind. Thank you.
Any comments?
As Ms. McManaman had stated, it's important that is contingent upon the chief's review because we have not had those discussions with them yet, because we just had the meeting the other day. That's something I'll start discussing with them tomorrow, but there is that concern of, Central Station's right there, where half a block off of where they want to close, so.
I'm just going to make the comment. I'm going to be voting no. I support these things 100%, but I just think on a Friday, closing down the blocks where people live for 4 hours, I think it'd be more, and I understand it's only hopefully a 1-year thing because of the track being redone. But I just think with it being in May, there's time for them to have it in the community park, and I think it'd be more appropriate to have it in the community park. You have parking there, and there's the trail there that they can run on. I just think that'd be more appropriate, so I will be voting no.
So, Mr. President, if I may, we did discuss that, and it's a busing issue.
Well, how did they get to the high school?
They walked.
They were able to walk there.
And that was, I think Councilwoman Baumgardner didn't bring that up. And we actually talked it through, like, what else, what other areas could you go? Because this isn't the ideal, so.
What about our trail?
Again, I think it was walking.
That's walking
across
distance.
The amount of streets, and that's all that I remember.
I think their concern was crossing the entire school across Chestnut Street.
Yeah.
Right, it's the whole school, from kindergarten on through 5th grade that takes part in this.
I just don't, how are the neighbors going to be notified?
Well, it would be just the way we would normally do with letters and street closure.
I don't think I'm going to support, I support things like this all the time, 5K races and stuff, but that's usually, they go through a neighborhood and then the street's opened again. It's not for 4 hours, so I'm not going to support this. So, anybody else, any comments? I just think there's enough time that we can find a better place, that's all.
I think Chris had you.
My only other comment to add in here, it doesn't really have a time. I would assume it's during the school.
10 to 2.
10 to
Okay.
2.
So, any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. No. There's 6 ayes and 1 no.
Thank you. You also notice meeting notes from this last meeting. Of course, the news here is the farmers market has changed their hours from, once the summer hours hit, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. instead of to 2 p.m. They will have a reorganization of their board, so we'll have a new liaison with them, and we're expecting everything to go smoothly this next season. We also, of course, talked about our goals for the committee and talking about more synergy with each of the committee through CRD and hopefully some awareness campaigns. And we are working on updates to the website, including what Ms. Donchez had commented with the agendas being on there. Our next meeting is February 10th at 4:30, and unless you have questions, Mr. Andrew.
Just a call out was the pole banner project for our veterans. I think that's going to be a great program, and they're going to be starting to sell those. I believe it's $250, and you can have a veteran placed on a banner in several areas of the town. So I'd love to get that word out and start to see those being sold.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews. I report progress.
Thank you. Junior Council members report. Jonas is not here tonight to give one. You have various boards and commission meeting minutes and reports. Personal appeals, part 2.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Phil Armstrong, Lehigh County Executive. It's the time of year I get out to every one of the 25 different borough, council, township meetings. And this year, one of the things, before I get to a project I'm really pushing, I'd have to say the Emmaus Main Street program is just fantastic. All the ribbon cuttings I do, and I think it's about 1 or 2 a week, I'm in Emmaus more than any other of the towns. So you really are doing a fantastic job. And as the county executive, anytime we get new businesses opening up in the county, it's a plus. So I want to say congratulations for that. What I'm really here to promote is, as we're running out of time because it's coming quickly, the census. I want every municipality, I've met with school superintendents, we've done a COG on it, we're meeting with just about any group that we can, but $2,093 we get in federal aid. You as a town, a school district, library, infrastructure repair, for every person counted. That's about the income that we'll get back. In 2010, we missed 30% of the population. Now, for 10 years, we lost over $2,000 per person. That's $20,000 for every one person. And when you look at how much money we lost, and as you know, we're getting cuts in infrastructure repair, we're getting cuts in everything. We really want all the municipalities to make a tremendous effort to get out. We're counting on you to encourage every person. It's a count of people. We are running into the rumors of security, and we have to emphasize the fact that if a census worker released some information that they shouldn't, besides an unbelievably high fine, they go to jail for 10 years. So we need to get that across for people who are saying, gee, I don't trust the government. This is a count. This is actually in the first article of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 2. We're going to count the number of people. And we've been doing it ever 10 years, since the 1790s. So it's important. I really want to emphasize that fact. Also, as you know, Lehigh County is voting new ways, and Pennsylvania has just passed a new resolution for voting, a new ordinance or law, whatever, that you're going to be allowed to have early voting 50 days prior. The governor's office just called every county last Friday to inform us that we're also going to be allowed to, but there's a catch to this, if we'd want to, 30, 40 days prior to the election, open up a branch office, if you will. Now, for 50 days, you can go online, fill it out, and we'll send you the information from the county. You could come right into the county. Or they're going to allow counties to go out to different areas and open up a branch office for a day where you would say, come in, fill out the 3-page form. It's pretty much 1 page with 3 pages of instructions. Hand it back to us, that we could give you the ballot then, and then you could fill it in, seal it up, and give it back to us. Now, all the early ballots will be in a safe, secure area in the county. In fact, this whole new law is going to cost us a few extra dollars besides having to pay for all the new ways of doing this and the machines. We now have to expand our storage. We're going to have to we're figuring for 2020, maybe 50, 60,000 mail-in votes. So it's going to require, but my question back to the governor's office was, will there be funding if I ask my voting registration department to come out to Emmaus on a Saturday to do this? That's overtime, that's state computers, there's no money with it, so I'm not sure that's going to happen. But we are going to encourage early voting. So, if you want to go online. So anyway, any questions on anything about what's going on in the county that I'm here? I'm out, again, this is about my 6th meeting, and I've gotten some pretty good ones so far. So does anybody have anything or?
No, thank you for coming. I would have pointed you out, except I didn't recognize you with your beard.
It's winter ski season.
I was just like, wow, it's him. I didn't know it until you spoke. So.
That's all right. Well, then, you know what? Sometimes it's good to not be that well recognized. But the Christmas lighting here I thought it was such a special event. And I attended this year, and I had said in my remarks, it was like a Hallmark movie. But when the lights went out and then they came back on, it was a Hallmark movie. Because there's always one of those things in a movie where, and then at the end there's a happy ending. So it's just a lovely place, Emmaus. That's what I'd have to say.
Well, thank you for the compliments.
Okay.
Phil,
Yes.
can't let you go without saying something about your election office. I think they do a wonderful job. A couple of us were candidates this year. We certainly did better than Northampton County with their poor bumps. But I found the people working there to be extremely professional and extremely helpful all the time.
And there are areas we need to improve. We did take feedback from people. Security, we need to have more privacy. We're going to have more kiosks at the different spots. We have to watch when people are taking their ballot up to the machine. We're going to have to tape off an area that you wouldn't be able to stand right here watching, Chad put his in. Again, first time we learned. We're very fortunate that Northampton just had a lot more mistakes than we did. So that did help. But, we have our areas, and we know that, and we need to improve them, and we're working at it.
But they
So,
are professionals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anybody else? Hearing none. Borough Manager's report.
I have nothing to report. Unless you have any questions for me, I'll report progress.
Under President's business, I'm going to recess for an executive session for personnel issues with no decisions to be made. And with that, I'll be dismissing the borough manager and the solicitor, as long as you teach me which buttons to press when we come back.
Okay.
And our borough manager has a son's birthday party to get home and hopefully get to say happy birthday before he goes to bed. So with that, we will recess at 7:40 for executive session.